There is a trait. Ignore it, and the world will erase you without a second thought. It doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how skilled you think you are. Without this trait, the timid, the reckless, the undeserving will outrun you, outmaneuver you, and take everything you were meant to hold. It is not courage. It is not charm. It is not brutality. It is invisibility within dominance, a presence that cannot be read, a silence that cannot be broken, a mind that cannot be predicted. Those who wield it are untouchable. They move through the world and force it to bend to their timing, their terms, their rules. Those who do not, they bleed opportunities, betray themselves, and vanish unnoticed. This is the dark trait, the one that turns hesitation into irrelevance, the one that gives the bold the unfair advantage they were born to seize. By the time this video ends, you will know how to wield this trait yourself. You'll learn how to move through any room, any conversation, any situation, without being read, without being challenged, and without being replaced. You'll discover how to turn silence into power, absence into leverage, and mystery into dominance. Stay with me, because by the final moment, you won't just understand the dark trait. You'll know exactly how to make it yours, and how to ensure the world bends to your timing, your terms, and your rules. There is a war no one talks about. A war fought in glances, in timing, in what is said, and more importantly, what is left unsaid. Most men believe life is a series of obvious contests, promotions, recognition, relationships. They are blind. The real battle is invisible, and if you cannot see it, you will be devoured by those who can. Every interaction, every decision, every subtle choice is a move on a board no one has handed you the rules to. Most play openly, reacting, justifying, explaining, giving away more than they know. They are predictable. They are readable. And in the world that rewards ruthlessness, predictability is a death sentence. Strength is not in muscle. It is not in intelligence. It is not in charm. These are obvious. Anyone can see them. Anyone can measure them. Anyone can anticipate them. True power is invisible. It is the ability to move without being noticed until it is too late. It is the weight of presence that bends perception without effort. It is a silence that forces others to reveal themselves. Observe those who dominate the invisible battlefield. They rarely boast. They rarely demand attention. They do not chase opportunities. They draw them. Others run past, thinking they are winning, while the silent strategist has already shaped the outcome. Timid and reckless alike are powerless in their presence because they cannot read the intent. The unprepared cannot survive in a world that rewards the unseen, the decisive, the patient. Most people live life as though it owes them something. They react to events, hoping for the right timing, the right recognition, the right favor. But life does not wait. Life does not forgive hesitation. While you wait for permission, someone else moves, and the opportunity vanishes. Every moment you hesitate, the world takes what could have been yours. The cost of being obvious is brutal. Every weakness, every hesitation, every predictable action is a weapon someone else wields. Every word over-explained, every apology, every attempt to please is a thread in a tapestry others will pull to control you. The more visible you are, the more disposable you become. Observation becomes your first weapon. Watch without reacting. Listen without responding. Let others reveal their hunger, their fear, their desire. The one who understands before acting controls the battlefield. Knowledge before motion is leverage no one can buy, no one can steal. Those who react first are slaves to circumstance. Those who anticipate, who calculate, who move silently. Own it. Preparation beats reaction every single time. Reacting is submission. Responding is weakness. Acting with invisible precision is dominance. And the strange truth? Most people never realize they are already in this war. They believe life is fair. They believe merit matters. They believe skill alone protects them. They are dead wrong. The world does not reward the worthy. It rewards the unseen, the patient, the unreadable. And here lies the cruelest lesson. Those who understand this battlefield wield a power so subtle, so precise, that it appears almost supernatural. They bend outcomes to their terms, not by noise, not by force, but by mastery of perception. Those who do not. They bleed opportunities, betray themselves, and vanish quietly. Their absence noticed only when the gap they leave is exploited by someone wiser, faster, sharper. The world is a silent battlefield, and most men are walking into it unarmed. What separates the winners from the expendable is not courage, not strength, not charm. It is the mastery of the invisible war. The victors carry a weapon unseen, unstoppable, bending everything around them without effort. Only those who learn to move like shadows survive and thrive where others fail. There is a power the world cannot see, but it reacts to instantly. It is not in your strength, your wealth, or your words. It is in the absence of everything expected, the silence where others shout, the restraint where others erupt. It is subtle, untraceable, and devastatingly effective. The world cannot measure it, and that is precisely why it bends to those who wield it. Men mistake action for influence. They think visibility is authority. They display themselves, speak loudly, gesture wildly, and seek attention. They believe that being noticed is the same as being respected. It is not. True dominance does not announce itself. It waits. It observes. It shapes outcomes without effort, without notice, without argument. A single glance, a measured pause, a carefully timed absence. These are the tools of those who understand the edge of mystery. Presence alone is not enough. Subtlety is the key. Those who master this power operate in a space no one else can map. Their motives are unreadable, their next move invisible, their influence untraceable. People sense them before they see them. Instinctively, they hesitate, they second guess, they reveal themselves first. In that hesitation, the unseen strategist strikes, not with force, but with control. Every interaction becomes a battlefield, and most men never even know they have entered it. Observation is weaponized. Everything around you is data. The words people choose, the pauses they allow, the gestures they cannot hide. Each tells you more than they intend. And while others rush to impress, to explain, to justify, the master of this trait remains unmoved, gathering intelligence, calculating timing, shaping perception. Power does not require noise. It requires patience, precision, and an understanding of human weakness. Most men are predictable. Their desires, fears, and impulses are transparent. They crave validation, approval, and attention. They act when provoked, react when criticized, and overcommit when flattered. Their intentions leak through words, tone, and posture. The man who understands the edge of mystery does none of these things. He reacts rarely, only with purpose. He speaks only when necessary, and even then, every word carries weight. His silence is louder than their noise, his absence more felt than their presence. Ambiguity is a weapon. People fear what they cannot read. When you conceal your intentions, you create a vacuum that others fill with speculation, anxiety, and overcompensation. They act first, reveal their strategy first, make mistakes first. You observe, wait, and act, when the outcome already favors you. Influence becomes effortless because others betray themselves simply by existing in the same space as you. This is not instinct. This is deliberate mastery. It begins with self-control, with restraint, with the understanding that showing too much is weakness. Every unnecessary explanation, every emotional reaction, every attempt to justify or seek approval is a leash. It ties you to others' expectations and allows them to manipulate your perception of yourself. To wield the edge of mystery, you must sever those chains. You act according to your own timing, according to your own rules, not in response to the world's noise. Control is the outcome, not control through force or intimidation, but control through perception. People respond to uncertainty with fear, respect, and envy. They overcommit to situations they do not understand, miscalculate when they cannot read your moves, and concede influence to the one who acts unseen. The fewer signals you give, the more powerful they become. They fill the void with their own mistakes, leaving you the victor without lifting a hand. The truly dangerous man is unreadable. He is unpredictable. He allows the world to guess, to misjudge, to misstep. He does not compete on visible terms because the visible world is already a trap. He operates beneath it, above it, beyond it. Influence is silent. Authority is hidden. Power is invisible until it strikes, and when it does, it leaves no trace of effort. Those without this ability are exposed. They are loud, reactive, obvious. The world pushes them, tests them, and discards them. They bleed opportunities, chase illusions, and vanish unnoticed. The one who cultivates this edge bends reality without effort. Others act for him, stumble before him, reveal themselves, and in doing so, they enforce his authority without ever knowing it. This is the dark advantage. It is subtle, immeasurable, and lethal. It is cultivated not through action, but through inaction mastered. Not through noise, but through silence. Not through visibility, but through the control of perception. It is the difference between a man who is used and a man who is untouchable. It is the trait that makes the world bend before you, the trait that ensures hesitation never defeats you, the trait that ensures you move unseen while everyone else betrays themselves in plain sight. Power is rarely granted. It is seized, but not by the loud, the obvious, or the desperate. The man who rules quietly understands that visibility is vulnerability. Every unnecessary movement, every spoken word, every reaction is a breadcrumb others can follow to predict, control, or manipulate you. The truly untouchable understand. Silence is not emptiness. It is strategy. Every pause, every calculated absence, every unreadable glance is a weapon. The world is filled with men who act first, speak first, and reveal their intentions first. They believe that momentum belongs to the loudest, the most aggressive, the most visible. They are wrong. Momentum belongs to the unseen strategist, the man who waits while others stumble, who observes while others act, who calculates while others gamble. Their advantage is invisible, yet absolute. Observation is the first rule. Every gesture, every hesitation, every slip of emotion is a piece of data. When someone brags, interrupts, or reacts, they are revealing more than they intend. They show you where their fear lies, where their greed lies, and where their loyalty ends. And you remain unreadable. You do not respond. You do not justify. You do not explain. You collect intelligence like a predator circling prey, patient, silent, calculating. Control comes from absence. People overestimate presence. They believe being everywhere, saying everything, and witnessing all is power. It is not. Presence can be challenged. It can be diminished. It can be stolen. Absence, however, creates a vacuum. It breeds speculation, uncertainty, and ultimately fear. Those who cannot read you begin to overreach. They expose themselves, betray their position, and act in ways that serve your invisible hand. Timing is everything. A whisper at the wrong moment accomplishes nothing. A silence at the right moment can shift the entire balance of a room. You do not move when others demand it. You move when the advantage belongs to you. And when you do, the world reacts, not because it understands, but because it is forced to. Influence is not argued into existence. It is imposed by perception. And perception is your most lethal tool. Predictability is weakness. The world loves to categorize, to label, to assign patterns. A man who cannot be labeled cannot be cornered. He becomes untouchable because no one knows where he stands, what he wants, or what he might do next. The unknown terrifies more than the obvious. Make your intentions invisible. Reveal only what serves your control. Keep everyone else guessing, and in guessing, they reveal themselves. Emotion is a leash. Men who react emotionally are controlled by everything outside themselves. Praise, insult, rejection, temptation. These are levers the weak allow others to pull. The untouchable man feels everything, but acts on nothing unless it serves his design. Anger becomes calculation. Desire becomes leverage. Insult becomes data. Emotional restraint is not coldness, it is mastery. And mastery is dominance. Influence is quiet. The man who makes the world bend does not shout. He does not display. He does not insist. He does not debate. He waits. He watches. He moves when the moment aligns with his strategy. And when he acts, others follow instinctively, not because of coercion, but because they cannot help themselves. They sense his presence, his timing, his inevitability. This is the silent game. And most men fail because they do not play it. They mistake volume for authority, reaction for control, visibility for influence. They bleed opportunities in their haste to be seen, heard, or liked. They expose themselves to manipulation, ridicule, and replacement. The untouchable thrives precisely because he understands what the world cannot. That power is not in the noise. It is in the unseen, in the unreadable, in the unprovoked. By mastering invisibility within dominance, you become the axis around which the room turns. Others act, reveal, and exhaust themselves. You remain calm, calculating, untouchable. You do not need to convince. You do not need to command. You simply exist in a way the world cannot ignore, and every action you take carries the weight of inevitability. This is the edge the bold exploit and the timid never see. It is the difference between being chased and being the one who decides who moves and who waits. It is the trait that ensures hesitation becomes irrelevance, uncertainty becomes opportunity, and silence becomes dominance. Those who understand it wield influence that cannot be challenged, cannot be stolen, and cannot be measured. Power is not given. Influence is not earned. Presence is not inherited. It is forged, meticulously, in silence, absence, and calculation. The untouchable man does not wait for permission to exist. He engineers the perception of inevitability. And you can do the same, but only if you learn to control three essential elements: attention, timing, and perception. Attention is a currency most men squander. They scatter it everywhere, on meaningless debates, petty conflicts, or the endless chatter of approval seekers. The untouchable spends attention like a predator spends energy, sparingly, purposefully, surgically. Every glance, every nod, Every interaction is calculated to reinforce uncertainty, to create subtle dominance. You do not give your presence freely. You mete it out in ways that make others notice when it appears, and feel the void when it disappears. Timing is the invisible lever of power. React too quickly, and you reveal neediness. Wait too long, and you risk irrelevance. The untouchable moves only when the odds bend in his favor. He observes, collects, and calculates while the world rushes to act first, speak first, and expose itself. A single well-timed word, gesture, or movement can unbalance the most confident opponent. Hesitation is not weakness, it is preparation. Patience is not idle, it is strategy. Every action must arrive with the weight of inevitability. Perception is the battlefield. You are not fighting against the visible. You are fighting against assumptions, expectations, and the invisible biases of those around you. The untouchable crafts his perception with care. He does not seek to be understood. He seeks to be unknowable. He reveals what serves his control and conceals everything else. Others see confidence, mystery, and unshakable certainty, and they respond instinctively. You cannot fake it. You cannot bluff it. It must become a living part of your identity, a truth in your presence that cannot be denied. Control your gaze. The eyes are weapons. The untouchable never flinches, never averts, never apologizes with a glance. He observes silently, absorbing every detail, noting every reaction, every micro-expression, every subtle movement. His stare does not seek approval. It commands recognition. It communicates more than words ever could. Learn to wield silence and gaze as tools. Let your eyes speak when your mouth remains still. Let your presence unsettle simply by being. Master your energy. Most men expend it recklessly. Nervous gestures, fidgeting, laughter, over-explanation. Energy betrays intent, weakens influence, and invites exploitation. The untouchable conserves his energy, projecting calm, calculated control. Movement is deliberate, speech is measured, presence is potent. When he enters a space, people notice, not because he demands it, but because the room responds to the weight he carries. Be deliberate. Move slowly. Speak with certainty. Your energy is a silent signal of your power. Absence is strategy. The untouchable disappears, leaving a vacuum. The world, unaccustomed to scarcity, overcompensates, revealing secrets, desires, weaknesses. Every absence is a lesson in control. Do not chase attention. Do not plead for validation. Withdraw strategically. Let others feel the cost of your presence. Scarcity is magnetic. Rarity is dominant. When you reappear, it is on your terms, and the world responds instinctively. Emotion is the leash most men fail to sever. Praise, insult, temptation, or rejection. These are levers that manipulate the weak. The untouchable feels, but does not act until the moment serves him. Anger becomes strategy. Temptation becomes leverage. Insult becomes intelligence. Emotional restraint is not apathy. It is mastery. Mastery is power, and power is untouchable. Every action must reinforce the enigma. Speak less than necessary. Reveal only what serves control. React less than expected. Move slower than predicted. Let others overexpose themselves while you maintain balance. Predictability is death. Mystery is armor. The world fears what it cannot measure, cannot label, and cannot anticipate. Become that fear. The untouchable presence is useless if it doesn't yield results. Mystery, silence, and invisibility are weapons, but only when wielded with intent. To dominate the world around you, to bend situations to your favor, you must learn the art of strategic action. Presence is the spark. Control is the fire, and the world obeys the fire. First, define your battlefield. Power is not everywhere. It is concentrated. Identify where influence matters most. The room where decisions are made. The circle where reputation is forged. The network where resources flow. Every action outside of this zone is wasted energy. The untouchable strikes where it counts, leaving nothing to chance, nothing to emotion. Awareness of your arena is the foundation of dominance. Second, act invisibly. The untouchable moves without announcing his presence, without broadcasting his intentions. Every decision, every step, every subtle maneuver is calculated to appear effortless, almost accidental. This is not luck, it is deception perfected. Others will never see your hand until it is too late. They will sense your power only in the consequences, in the rearrangement of outcomes that suddenly favors you, as if by fate. Learn to operate in shadows, to influence outcomes before the world even realizes you were involved. Third, convert observation into leverage. Every conversation, every interaction, every moment of silence is data. The untouchable does not participate blindly. He absorbs, deciphers, and catalogs. Who is weak? Who is overconfident? Who is desperate for approval? Information is power, and knowing more than anyone else gives you the ability to bend events subtly. You do not need to confront every challenge. You simply need to understand it first. Knowledge becomes leverage. Leverage becomes dominance. Fourth, let scarcity dictate influence. The untouchable never appears too available. He allows others to pursue him in vain, to underestimate his reach, to misjudge his intent. Scarcity amplifies value. Rarity commands attention. Presence becomes a force because it is neither constant nor predictable. Withdraw at strategic intervals. Reappear at moments of maximum effect. Let the world chase what it cannot control, and it will obey the rhythm you dictate. Fifth, weaponize restraint. Most men mistake dominance for aggression. They shout, they overexpose, they act impulsively. The untouchable knows that restraint is the sharpest edge. Speak only when it serves control. Move only when it maximizes effect. React only when it generates leverage. By doing less than expected, by withholding what others take for granted, you force the world to bend, to adjust, to anticipate your decisions. The absence of action is often louder than the action itself. Sixth, manipulate perception subtly. Dominance is not about proving strength. It is about making others question their assumptions. Make them second guess, hesitate, and reveal themselves. A calm demeanor, a measured response, a deliberate glance. They all serve to destabilize others without a word spoken. When people question their own judgments, they hand you power willingly. You never take it. You simply let it settle into your hands. Seventh, transform rejection and challenge into advantage. Every slight, insult, or setback is data, opportunity, and fuel. The untouchable does not flinch. He does not overreact. He absorbs the impact, analyzes the meaning, and adapts his strategy. When others perceive him as unshakable, their resistance crumbles. When they doubt him, he exploits the miscalculation. Emotional immunity is the backbone of power. Finally, execute with precision. Dominance is not an abstract concept. It is a sequence of deliberate actions that achieve measurable results. Each move should create momentum in your favor. Every word, every decision, every absence should be orchestrated to produce outcomes that reinforce your untouchable presence. Power is cumulative. Small strategic victories compound into irreversible advantage. Everything you have learned so far leads to one truth. Power is not given. It is seized, forged, and maintained. The dark trait we have explored is not a philosophy. It is a code, a law that governs those who move through the world strategically, invisibly, untouchable. You began as someone susceptible to hesitation, to approval, to influence. Now, you are on the verge of becoming the version of yourself that commands every room you enter without asking, without explaining, without fearing. Remember the beginning. The trait that separates the bold from the obedient is not courage, not charm, not brute force. It is invisibility within dominance, a presence that cannot be read, a silence that cannot be broken, a mind that cannot be predicted. Those who wield it bend the world to their timing, their terms, their rules. Those who lack it bleed opportunities, betray themselves, and vanish unnoticed. This is not abstract. It is a war that occurs every day, every interaction, every glance, every pause. You learned how to kill the inner servant, the one that flinches, over-explains, seeks approval, and apologizes before speaking. That voice is dead. The ruler inside you has awoken. Confidence is no longer a mindset. It is your identity. You expanded when you wanted to shrink, paused when you wanted to explain, stared when you wanted to apologize. You became someone who acts while the timid wait, who commands while the nervous plead, who decides while the unsure speculate. Presence is your first weapon. Silence is your second. And together, they make you untouchable. You then learned the importance of voice, posture, and timing. You do not need to speak loudly, but every word carries finality. You do not need to prove yourself, but your movements signal dominance. The world responds not to noise, but to unshakable certainty. Conversations are not battles to be won. They are opportunities to establish hierarchy. The hesitant will reveal their weakness. The overconfident will reveal their predictability. And you will capitalize silently, surgically, without emotion. You became a predator of opportunity, reading the room, observing intentions, creating gravity that pulls others into your orbit. Then came control over reaction, the invisible war within your mind. You stopped responding to provocation. Praise, insult, silence, temptation, all became fuel. You are no longer moved by emotion. You are moved by strategy. Scarcity became your ally. Withdrawal became your weapon. Rejection became intelligence. Every interaction is leveraged, every outcome calculated, every move deliberate. You learned that the world does not care how you feel. It responds to clarity, certainty, and power. And by mastering this, you no longer chase the world. The world now orbits your decisions. Finally, you transformed presence into dominance. You act invisibly but with purpose, observing before engaging, understanding before striking, influencing without exposing intent. Your moves are rare, strategic, precise. Silence speaks louder than words. Inaction generates anticipation. Restraint becomes your sharpest edge. People underestimate you, misread you, and when the consequences of your presence manifest, it is already too late for them to counter. You have learned to convert hesitation into irrelevance, uncertainty into submission, observation into control. Now remember this: legends are not built through effort alone. They are built through strategy, calculation, and ruthless consistency. Presence is not enough. You must act. Silence is not enough. You must influence. Observation is not enough. You must dominate. And once you merge all three, you move through the world not as a participant, but as an orchestrator, not as a follower, but as a standard, not as someone who exists, but as someone the world bends to. You have learned the code. You have seen the path. You know the strategy. Now it is time to implement it relentlessly. Kill hesitation. Kill predictability. Kill approval seeking. Build presence, mastery, and control. Become the enigma, the untouchable, the one others notice instinctively and cannot challenge consciously. The dark trait is yours, but only if you act. If you are ready to move beyond being seen, understood, and challenged. If you are ready to become untouchable, hit like and subscribe. Every strategy, every insight, every method we've revealed is only powerful if you internalize it, execute it, and let the world feel your absence, presence, and authority. Do not wait. Your transformation starts now.